Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. We are very pleased to introduce this conference dedicated to the RFID ecosystem in tires, which is related to an exhibition project that we host this year here in Autopromotec, here down in Hall 22. It is a collective exhibition area with 8 exhibiting companies that we, as organizer of Autopromotec, strongly wanted to support in order to allow all of the innovations coming out from the aftermarket sector and value chain to be as much as possible introduced into the market. So we are very keen to support this very important project so as to allow the innovation of the companies to reach into the market, which is the main goal of Autopromotec itself. We're going to have
Alla sala Cardini a metà del padiglione 21-22 nel piano amezzato si svolgerà il convegno Ecosistema RFID nei pneumatici alle ore 14.
Right. So, little problem with finding the room for some of the people. Okay, so we are going to see the presentation from the 8 companies, and after the presentation, we are going to have a discussion panel open, of course, to the questions from the audience. So I am giving the stage to Christophe Duc from Michelin for the first presentation. Thank you very much.
Visitors and visitors that the Congress, the RFID Ecosystems in Tires, will take place at 2 o'clock in Hall Gallery, located in Mezzanine 2122.
Good. I think, can you hear me well? Hello, good afternoon. So Christophe Duc from Michelin company on the connected solution entity. So again, the idea with the team here is to drive through some of the elements, some of the base elements on RFID. Then I'll hand it over to Riccardo Giovannotti from GDSO, and to other members, so that you can understand at best what RFID in tires is all about as an interoperable market standard to identify and finally connect tires to their ecosystems, very important from the cradle to the grave. It's a transformation. It's really something that is strong. It's a change, and it's underway. With the aim of digitizing the tire industry and connect the tires. Strong point is really the adoption of this RFID interoperable standard. And you see that at the, I would say, mid of 2025, more and more OEM are requesting RFID within their next vehicles for traceability, identification, end-to-end application, also for truck and fleet application. And of course, more and more companies are also discovering strong internal value cases. The ecosystem, and it's a good proof today, is really understanding and taking this innovation and this new market standard, integrating it into products, offers that are available or will be available on the marketplace, which also helps a lot in terms of distribution, fleets, of course, OEMs understanding and integrating this RFID standard. And we'll say also a few words, so Pierre will say a few words after Riccardo on digital product passports. As you probably all know, it will come soon, reasonably soon, into the tire world as a requirement. So we'll say a few words about that and the consequences for us all. So a few brief words in my introduction, and finally why RFID, because in a sense, as you see on the screen, there are many ways to identify a tire, but none of them really supports use cases and robust identification from the cradle to the grave. This is why the tire industry, so it's not a Michelin saying, it's the tire industry, strongly supports, believes that RFID embedded is really the only robust tire ID that can follow every use case in every step of the value chain from the very beginning of the production until what is becoming more and more important and valuable end-of-life management, circular economy. A brief reminder, again, proving that what we are talking about is a market interoperable standard. The first element, and of course you're all welcome to come to the booth in Hall 22 that Guido has spoken about, if you have not come already. 3 key components to the standard. The first one is embedded chips into the tire that are placed and cured into the tires during production, encoded once and for all. So basically all tire manufacturers use the same placing, the same kind of tags in the sidewall of the tires. So it's the first element of the standard. It's RFID UHF, by the way. That's why you see the Rain Alliance logo. Second key element of the standard is the coding. So again, the tire industry has made it simple. We all use GS1 SJT96 coding principle. We permalock this very light single code into the chip once and for all during the encoding phase after the production. So it's completely bulletproof. And the third element of the standard, and of course Riccardo will say much more than myself regarding how GDSO works. So it's very key. GDSO is a data space and provide a cloud access to the data. But the data are located not in GDSO, they are located in Michelin, Conti, Goodyear, Pirelli, so everybody's database. So again, this brings along the elements unique key benefits to the tire industry, to all stakeholders, of course tire makers, distributors, OEMs, fleet users, retraders, on having something that is bulletproof, again, data easily accessible, standardized, and of course that can be read whatever the condition until the end of life. And end of life is really something that more and more is critical for the tire industry. So I will leave that probably to Riccardo, who will tell you in much more detail how the GDSO data space and the connectors work. Very important just for us to notice that from the founding fathers, we are now 12 members, and Riccardo will tell you much more details. 12 members of the GDSO and supporting this very key association. So what it does, typically RFID globally enables finally efficiency, traceability from cradle to grave once again, allowing for use case, and I'll detail a few use cases in a minute, from the manufacturing through the supply chain, fleet tracking, as you saw on the screen, up to end-of-life sorting. Arthur Wagner from Regom will also detail why and how Regom does it, and retarding processes in order to fuel, finally, a very virtuous circle on how we manage tires at each step of the value chain. If we dig very briefly in the families of use cases, on the left, so this is mostly oriented, I'll drop a slide specifically on truck and fleets. On the left side, I'm not going to detail everything. You have families of use case that are dedicated to efficiency in general, optimizing the operations, so really from proof of delivery, optimized logistics, of course, inventory, stock management, DOT is part of the topics that are very easy to manage with RFID. Case of OEMs, but also winter wheels, finally optimizing the fitments and the assemblies. And on the right side, you have a families, effectively, of use cases that are more into improving, doing a better job in customer experience as a whole. Typically, it's an enabler also. It's not a sensor per se, but it's an enabler to predictive maintenance or maintenance tools in general. You can see some examples at the booth, and obviously also helps doing a better job and supporting better customer relationship management ideas or support that are being created either by manufacturers, but more often by retailers, which is the most important, because you know each individual tire, so makes things and life way better. Come to the booth, we can detail all those use cases at the booth with the team. If I go to truck and following finally a traditional truck path of a fleet, finally through RFID, because RFID is embedded. It's embedded in every single Michelin truck tire. It's a very easy way from shipping the tires from our premises to, I would say, getting the tires into the workshops, distributors or workshops, associating the mounting operations, the automated inspections, reading the tires of the truck, registering and associating to that RFID number any kind of maintenance, rotating, regrooving operations that are being made to the tires. Of course, if it's new, reading, and if we find a damage, associating and doing some damage management with the tire manufacturers much more easily linked to that unique number. And of course, qualifying and doing a much better job in stock inventory, because you can now, through this single number, know exactly what kind of type of product. Is it a new tire? Has it been rotated? Has it been regrooved? Has it been retreaded once, twice, 3 times? So you can identify and qualify through the value chain, because you associate any kind of operations that you do to the single number that is embedded into the tire in a standard way, because again, it's a market interoperable standard, so it works in the same way for any tire brand, because everything is standardized. And of course, retreading, I spoke a little bit about it, and then end-of-life management, so collecting carcasses, tires, either to do a new retread or to dispose of, allowing the companies who do collection, who do dispose of tires to better understand, I'm sorry, the previous life of the tire, what it's been through, new, retread 1, 2, 3, understanding what's in the tire, and we'll say a few more words, understanding what needs to be done with that tire, because the history of the tire is known. And if we focus a little bit, we know there's a strong interest on retread. So again, and that's what we do at Michelin, is really from the very beginning of carcass collection to finally in the retreading factory, making sure that we collect the carcasses through RFID reading more and more, going from the former method to something that is full digital, relying on that unique identifier, and of course managing the in-plant processes of retreads through RFID, making sure that you have a single number, so every step of the process is linked to that digital ID, avoiding, of course, improving efficiency, improving traceability versus standard and traditional methods, okay, comparing to without RFID. Okay, so that really improves efficiency, traceability, and finally, customer, so can be a tire dealer, but also fleets, and the experience all in all for all retread processes. Very key for trucks and fleets management. If we focus very briefly on end of life, and we'll have a specific refresh with Pierre and together with Arthur later on, it's really making sure that at the very end of the tire life, when we put tires on a conveyor belt, through the identification of the tire, we know better what I've just said before, what was the history, what this tire has gone through, what were the key components, who it is, allowing for the different actors to do a much better job in terms of sorting and qualifying and redirecting between reuse, retrade, and recycle. And to do that, and that's why we're all here, it's not obvious, but it's not as simple as a tire manufacturer doing a tire with an RFID chips inside, because that would be not enough. So with the help of the team here, Autopromotec, is building and growing progressively an ecosystem of partners. Some are customers, but it starts from building a relationship with RFID tag providers. So you see 3 names of companies who do make and deliver chips to all tire manufacturers. But then once you have the tire with the right chip correctly encoded, what do you need? You need finally connection solution providers. You see a few names of companies on the list who are there today, who will explain why Ateq, Corghi, Devel, Fasep, Innovando, Regom, of course through GDSO, they trust RFID as the solution of the future and what they are implementing in their product portfolio to support a few users. You see OEMs, you see distributors, you see tire and wheel assemblers, transport companies, both in passenger car and truck, and companies involved. Pierre will say a few words in the pilot of Surpass 2 for the digital product passport, up to recyclers who we work with in order to make sure that the whole system is really interoperable, which is again the key word. It's a market standard, interoperable, and we all need together. That's why the ecosystem, and thank you again Autopromotec for the trust, the ecosystem is so critical. So what you will be able to see at the booth, and we probably show that slide at the very end. So from the very beginning to the end, we are able with the team and all the partners, to showcase, to tell you more on use case from proof of delivery, inventory, tire fitting, tire balancing, car diagnostic. But again, we have retreaded tires there also, and with Innovando and Regom, show also what it's all about in terms of collecting, end-of-life management, sorting, to loop the loop and fuel finally a global circular vision of individual identification and a market standard. So I will now leave the floor to Riccardo Giovannotti from the GDSO, who will explain you more in detail what GDSO is all about. Thank you for your time.
So, can you hear me? Ok. Buon pomeriggio a tutti. Immagino sia chiaro, sono italiano. Qui finisco con l'italiano, switch all'inglese, ok? Mi faceva però piacere salutare tutti. So, good afternoon, everyone. As Christophe kindly introduced me, I'm the Secretary General of GDSO. GDSO stands for Global Data Service Organization for Tires and Automotive Components. It's a brand new organization of the tire industry. It was established in January 2022, thanks to the initiative of the 5 founding members, so Bridgestone, Continental, Goodyear, Michelin, and Pirelli. We are located in Brussels, Belgium, for a reason, because the G stands for global, and we really wanted to be global since the Incorporation Act. And it means that Belgium is one of the few countries around the world allowing to create an international legal entity. And that's what we did. We created an international organization trying to take into account the inputs coming from all around the world, from different regions, in a way to then be able to deploy all these kind of technical challenges. Nonetheless, you know, the European Commission agenda in the automotive industry is really challenging. And it's okay? Okay. And very often it's spreading around the world like a tsunami. So that's what we want to do, to let every region be ready to tackle the challenges in digitalization. The good point is that from, let's say, a restricted club of 5 founding members, now we have a crowded place. So in just 3 years, we moved from 5 to 12 tire companies with 7 associates, meaning other regional technical organization or trade association that really act like an antenna for GDSO, trying to raise the attention point for our agenda so that, you know, the 12 companies all together may work in a way to create standards, technical standards, and new services. Most important, and maybe you got it from the presentation of Christophe, tire manufacturers, from a GDSO perspective, are not really manufacturers. For us, they are data providers. So we are really, really happy if they produce tires, but most important, they shall share data. Indeed, the target of GDSO is to create standards. We create standards in data, in letting attributes and information about tires be made available. But also, we create standards on how to share data. So GDSO is also a data space, as Christophe introduced. Don't look at the moon. When I talk about data space, it's a place where rules are set in terms of governance, policy, access right in sharing data. And most important, we are live. I mean, the system is available. What you saw before on the presentation from Michelin is something that is real. It's already adopted by some early adopters. It's an emerging technology for sure, an emerging solution, but it's real. In a nutshell, everything starts from SGT96, that is the tire unique item identifier. Long story short, we focus on the name of the tire. It's like Riccardo. There is only one Riccardo. There is only one tire. So it's up to the serial of the single tire. And then through the connector that we developed, based on the governance, the rules, access right, and so on, the attributes are made available to the final user. So we are mostly, and to make it short, the service provider. What is really important to highlight is that, the same could be done by each of the tire manufacturers by themselves. So what's in it for them to have GDSO as a service provider? It's clear, the user on the left and the one that is receiving the data is the one that may interact with hundreds of different tire manufacturers. It means that, in a way, they should be able to implement hundreds of different solutions, one for Bridgestone, one for Continental, one for Michelin, Pirelli, and so on. It's a barrier. So through standardization, the tire manufacturer were looking at simplifying the data sharing so that all the tire industry could move forward all together. And that's what we did. We created a platform, so a connector within a data space that is leveraging on interoperability, granting access to data no matter the tire brand. And this is an example of a real use case that you already enabled. You already saw something in the presentation from Christophe, but that's really key. The vehicle manufacturer production line. They're receiving every day thousands and thousands of tires that are just black and round. So how to distinguish them? The use case for them is to be sure that the right tire is mounted on the right vehicle, on the right axle, because front and rear could be also different, for the right market. A vehicle produced in Germany could be then sold in China or in Brazil, wherever. And with just a click, they can link the digital ID to whatever the information they need. So that's already something that you may see also on the vehicle that is in our booth. It's equipped with tires fitting an electronic device. And most important, so far, I never discussed about RFID. Maybe you noticed it. Because GDSO remains technology agnostic. It means that we focus on the code, on the name of the tire. But as also Christophe said before, we made an internal assessment saying, okay, there are different data carriers, different technologies that are standardized and available on the market, and they can enable different use cases. So let's say different data carriers, different use cases. And it's up to the tire manufacturers, depending on their internal business case, on regulatory requirement, whatever, to decide what to do. For us, it's key that they use the SGT96, so the standardized code. What we assessed, as Christophe already anticipated, is that anyhow, in a cradle-to-grave use case, so from manufacturing up to the end of life, there is only one data carrier that may survive, that is the embedded RFID. And usually, in different speeches, I'm asking a question to Pierre. So today, I make the question to myself, is it enough? No, it's not enough. It's clear. Otherwise, no question. It means that if we really want to take into account the many-to-many scenario, where a tire, for example, is produced by Michelin, then is retailed by Bandag in US, then it's repaired by another shop in South Carolina or whatever, this kind of interoperability, data sharing, access right need to be two-way approach. So not only the tire manufacturer to provide data, but also the user to start providing their input on the operation that took place. So without entering too much into the details, indeed, what we are expecting is that, for example, a tire shop making an inspection on the tire rather than a retailer company or an end-of-life tire company will provide to the tire manufacturer the feedback about the operation that took place. Like, for example, I made the inspection on this specific tire, and I realized that the tire has got a puncture. I repair it, or for any reason, I understood that there is an even wear, and the tire needs to be scrapped and removed from the market. These are key information happening along the tire value chain that today the tire manufacturer cannot collect. It means, just a second, then I will leave you the floor. It means that as of today, what we are building up is the tool to allow all these different stakeholders to get benefit in sharing data among them in a win-win approach, but also to enable sustainability and circularity use cases until the end of life. I think I went pretty fast. Yeah, sorry.
You want to sing something?
No. I have some other slides, but I think we can go for some questions. Yeah, no worries.
I can just ask one question. If the warranty process will be added here,
If
companies like Michelin are going based on the tires to the warranty process. So if there is a claim, and I can just say, so Christophe, you know, because we were in contact, there are plenty of tires coming from Germany that should be scrapped after 5 years old, maybe 6 years, I don't know exactly. They are not scrapped in Germany. They come to Poland, Czech Republic, Ukraine. And there is a special tool that me in Michelin, they know, you can buy from eBay Pakistan to change the date of the production. And those tires are sold under 18th month in Poland as new tires. So my question would be if manufacturers are interested to admit that it exists, at least, because everybody is surprised. Okay, I understand why. We don't want anybody to be frightened about something which is maybe small, but if they want or they are willing to check it, so if somebody claims such a tire, the claim will be rejected because the claim, you know, the tire was changed, so it's not under the warranty anymore, and people won't be willing or will be willing less to buy attractive tires for attractive price from eBay or from somewhere. Yes, there are different portals like this. And I would like to give to garage owners the possibility to check the real date of the production within first 15 minutes, because if it's not possible, it's over. The claim has to be accepted, 1 hour, 2 hours, depending, lost. So if it's possible to check it, now it's not possible, because when I log to GDSO, I can't check the date of the production. So my question is when or if the date of the production will be visible in GDSO, if I check with the tool. If not, so I know that I have to go directly to Michelin, Bridgestone, and so on, and to ask them for such a possibility in their CRM or a call center like Michelin. So that's all. Sorry for the long.
No worries.
The long question.
I appreciate it. First of all, more than happy to have a one-to-one with all of you having any kind of questions, so that we can also.
It's interesting for everybody, and a lot of people didn't know about this process to exist. Or some people say, oh, in Asia we know that it exists, but in Europe? Yes, it exists, and there are not millions, but not hundreds, but rather thousands of tires coming to Poland and other countries when we hit the date of the production.
Thank you. And as I was saying, thanks a lot. More than happy to have a one-to-one to deep dive, and I can also answer your question, no worries. Just to have a joke, but you know, as soon as a German vehicle manufacturer is releasing a new vehicle, the old one are. Can you answer? Can I answer? Sorry. Okay. All the old one are coming to Italy as well. So it's not just a problem for the tires in Poland, but also for the vehicle in Italy. No worries. So the point is, the information you're looking for are already available. What you are getting right now is the public information. As I said, we can have a deep dive on that. But the DOT, date of production, many other information are already standardized and available through the GDSO service in our data, what we call the data referential, so let's say the list of attributes. Your point is really valuable. That's what we are building on, and our solution may enable that kind of activities of check, surveillance, but most important, and I ask you to understand it, is not on GDSO, the task. It should be a coordinated activity among authorities, among the industry itself, among service provider, among the shops. It's very well known. This morning, the Italian Ministry for the Industry and Recycling was asking me, are you aware that there are more tires that shall be scrapped compared to those that are registered? And I said, yes, I know. But that's something that GDSO by itself cannot solve it. It's something that we have to do together with the authorities. So for sure, what we are developing is a possibility to trace the story of a tire so that if the tire is selected like shall be removed from the market and is appearing somewhere else, it should be a red flag, It shall be just a matter of a beep. So just a few seconds to get that. But from that is a technical solution to a legal enforcement or a structured approach. For sure, we have to sit together with many different stakeholders. So our target is to serve different use cases, but we need support for that. Yeah.
My aim is to give, let's say, to people safer tires, better tires, yes, because if we don't have those tires on the market sold, it's better. And for tire manufacturers as well, I'm not working anymore in tire business directly, but less tires like this are used, more original tires are sold.
Sure.
Safer and so on. So
if you allow me to go to the next slide, I can show you the benefit for everyone. So for sure, by introducing the services and introducing also the new solution that we are developing, what's in it for the different stakeholders, it's clear. For GDSO members, a number of additional information can be retrieved, exactly like the example that we understood right now. A tire that was supposed to be removed from the market is then popping up and reappearing in another location, and maybe it is repaired somewhere else. That means, in a way, also to have full visibility of the major events occurring to the tire, repaired, retreaded, recycled, enabling, therefore, the possibility to cope with the forthcoming sustainability requirements like the European Digital Product Passport, for which GDSO is targeting to become a service provider as well. But not only for the users, the retreaders, end-of-life tire collectors and sorters, we can help them in improving the diagnostic. Let's try to be in the shoes of a retreader. I was talking this morning with one of our journalists. Every time a retreader is getting a used tire, is always the best tire in the world. Salesmen are able to say, that's the best tire. You have to retread it. Is it real? Maybe with this tool, they can scan it, can get the tire information, and they can retrieve that tire was already retreaded 2 times. Or maybe they can do it already by themselves, but they shall spend something like 10, 15 minutes to make a tire inspection. That's what we are trying to do, to optimize the diagnostic, but also to optimize their operation. Again, it should be something like instead of 20 minutes, just 2 minutes to confirm the outcome, and so on. Nonetheless, also to enhance the working condition. Today we have also a generation problem. Young people are waking up, going on TikTok, on Instagram, try to imagine these people then should go saying, okay, now I have to make a tire inspection of used tire. It's not compelling anymore, really. So maybe in that kind of operation, we can allow people spend effort where added value is delivered to the companies themselves. Not only we can support the automated sorting, providing value in operation where a human being is required, but also a better sorting. Better sorting means, for example, if you are aware that more homogeneous tires can provide an asset to the cement industry than for new raw material, then the ELT, the end-of-life company, can create a more homogeneous feedstock. That means a higher valorization of this kind of asset of tires, so that then they can be reused and recycled as well. So that's what we are doing. As I said, is expected to go live during this year. We're already making some tests with the GDSO members. So very likely next year or in 2 years, we will showcase already initial adopters. Again, I think we are over time. If you have any question, I'm more than happy to follow up later. Okay? So I guess I leave the floor to Pierre. Yeah. I guess there is twice my presentation for some reason. No worries. You can. Maybe they knew I was going so fast that I had the time to do it twice. Maybe 3 times. Oh, okay. Maybe you have to switch to the next. Yeah? Okay, I stop it. My fault. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Pierre Guido from Michelin, working in connected solution entity, but from engineering side as RFID system manager. So today I will speak about new regulation coming in Europe. This new regulation is called ESPR, for Eco-Design for Sustainable Product Regulation. And it's a cross-sectorial regulation, so applying to all products sold in Europe. One of the main tools of this regulation is called the DPP, Digital Product Passport. Why is it important for tires? It's European Commission has confirmed in last month the list of products that could be in the next wave, so in the working plan between 2025-2030, and tires are part of this shortlist. So tires in the top priorities of European Commission due to the circular economy, the potential of circular economy, because we have a volume of tire to manage at the end of life, and it's one of the main concerns of the European Commission. So the digital product passport, what is it? It's a tool. It's an information system to make data available during the product lifetime. It's based on 3 key principles. The first is to have a unique product identifier that we can use during the end of life, during the life of the product, to ensure that every stakeholders along the value chain can use it to have information, history of the product, to help repair and recycle. When we have a product with an identifier, we have to register to the European Commission to identify all the products put on the market. And at this time, the product will be authorized to be sold on the market. The second is data sharing. European Commission has identified a lot of use cases. It could be for authorities, but also for B2B stakeholders, that to be able to give information about the manufacturing, to identify some key performance, to compare products around the part of recycled material, if we look for tires, for abrasion, and also to allow information during the life to know when we repair our tires. That we can update information to enrich the history of the tire. For this, it's based on a decentralized architecture. So it means that, as we did for the TIS at GDSO, all the data associated to a tire are under the responsibility of the tire manufacturer or the economic operator putting the tire on the market. It means that it's a reliable solution. It's to avoid to have also a centralized database where we can where we put all information. And the third principle is to manage access right. So when we mentioned the TIS, it was only in one way to get information. Here, the idea is to manage right, to allow some stakeholders to update information, like end-of-life tire collectors, recyclers, or retraders, to enrich the history of the product. For sure, is to avoid that any stakeholders in the world can update the information of tires. And in this case, we update information to the original tire manufacturer of the tires. So it means for retread, what is important, the original manufacturer of the casing will have to manage the update during the life. And for this, GDSO, considered as a data space, will play the role to manage this data exchange. So the DPP is an information system. And for us, we see this tool as opportunity to leverage circular economy. First, the interest is for tire manufacturer to manage the life cycle of the tires, to know how these tires are recycled, also to understand how they are used, how they are retreaded, and to allow us to improve the design of the tires and better promote the sustainability of the tires. For end users, due to the systematic connection, it will assure the benefit to develop some new offers around tire as a service, to increase the tire life by knowing exactly the number of retreaded steps, or in the future to leverage second-hand purchase to give trust to the consumer. For retreaders with the casing history, it can improve their retread diagnostic and also increase the rate of retreaded tires that is today around 25% of trucks, for trucks. For ELT connectors, by automatic, it can leverage the automation of the sorting and to help them to answer recyclers to improve the quality of feedstock. So if in the future, if we want to use more and more recycled material, to have the better recycled material, the best recycled material, it's important to be able to have some batch of tires with the same compound to improve the process. So the interest is to allow to added value for the recycling, to develop some new channel of material recovery like pyrolysis. So of course, when we say this, it could be, we could say that it's a dream, but in fact, the tire industry has already made a great progress. First, because we are probably today one of the first true circular economy with repair and retread operations, because we are in the major European countries high rate of end-of-life tires collection. Second, we have already made a job to standardize the unique electronic ID of the tires, and by standardizing it. And the third is we have already a data space where we are able to manage data exchange. And it's typically what we want to illustrate in the Surpass 2 pilot, is to see how we can use all of these components at the scale-up level for the tire industry. So Surpass 2, it's a consortium. So it's a consortium selected by European Commission to support industries, to anticipate this new regulation and identify how DPP could be also used not only as a regulatory constraint, but maybe also use and reuse to leverage some new benefits for the actors. So this idea for the Surpass is to leverage a lot of truck tires already equipped and available on the market with RFID, but also with passenger cars. So we started, we have selected with different partners. So the idea, it will be covered in 3 countries, Germany, France, and Sweden, where we will have different type of partners, like end-of-life tires collectors, retreaders. The idea is to use it to identify how we can apply this regulation and how each stakeholder could identify some benefits for its own purpose. So we will have some Euromasters for casing collection, for truck casing collection, some retreaders with different size of facility. We will be supported also by some organism managing ELT collection in countries, and also with some ELT collectors to test how RFID can leverage the automatic sorting, and GDSO will enable data exchange and play the role of the governance body. So for this, we have 3 years to demonstrate how it could work. So, of course, a technical side by supporting each stakeholder to implement the solution to capture electronic ID. But as I mentioned, a part of the job is also to see potential values for each stakeholders, because to identify, of course, the cost to implement, but also in the parallel, the value behind, and identify also the key partners and identify the solution that could fit each type of company. So for this, so we will have benefits for reuse and recycling by leveraging different, also the organism, and also the benefits for the valorization, for example, also for the retread. So it's a key pillar for retread for the truck tires market. So it's also important for us to support each type of retreaders. So this, it's only a way to explore. For sure, at the end, the final decision will be validated by European Commission in 2027. It's the milestone is called the Delegated Act. So it's here what they mention, which are the unique IDs, the technical solutions, the data carrier, the data that should be required for any stakeholder, the different roles. But here, with this pilot, the idea is we start with some actors, but during the 3 years, it's to extend by recruiting some new stakeholders connected to GDSO and the new connector, the TLDS, to progressively increase the number of exchange of information and see how it could work in the next 3 years. So, as a conclusion for us, by 2027, of course, it's to validate the proof of concept, see how we can the guidelines for the future, how the tire industry altogether can support it. The second, of course, is to identify benefits for the different stakeholders and enable a true circularity of materials. And a third point is to see the benefits of traceability for the future business, to increase the retread business, or to choose more and more sustainable tires. And of course, at the end, is to ensure an affordable implementation of DPP that could be with to have a pragmatic delegated act. So we, in the different events in the coming years, we will share the status and the progress of this pilot, and also in the different social network you could see the progress and how we are going further together. Thank you.
So, hello again. I now have my twin, my big twin, Arthur, please. Tall twin. So Arthur is the CEO of Regom. So you'll see now in a few slides what we want to share is finally a quick update on, you've seen the principles, you've seen the data space and the connectors, some principles on digital product passports, but finally all of this can also support our internal challenges for a sustainable and a fully sustainable tire and tire production. You see on the screen some of the challenges that we set ourselves within the Michelin Group. Of course, we communicated and we communicate on a very regular mode on finally what we want to do, how we act in each step of the tire life cycle. That begins from the very choice of raw materials, but of course also up to, not alone, with partners like Regom on a tire recycling solution to fuel our 4R approach that you see on the left side. And you see finally what we do across the board during, again, manufacturing, supply chain and logistics, usage of our products, what we do, how we use it for retrading, and how we act into collection and end-of-life management. And sincerely, the point is to really orchestrate, finally, our circular economy challenges with internal partners, of course, but, and it's a good example with Regom, with external partners, make sure we have, and that's very, very key, we spoke ecosystem, here we say create partnerships, alliances to support, finally, our circularity ambitions. We cannot do it on our own. We need to support emerging value chains. It's the very minimum that we can do. And again, to make it happen, we absolutely need to secure renewable and recycled feedstocks. Otherwise, it will not happen. And so to do this, we have two phases, two key phases, two key priorities. The first one is, of course, maximizing closed loops from ELT to recycled materials within the tires. So that's a very, very strong one. And on the other end, on a longer period, it's to aim for zero fossil and making sure we can secure access, finally, to renewable, recycled materials and all their primary feedstock. So that's a virtuous circle. You have some of the dates. And of course, it's not only a circular challenge, it's more a circular revolution that we need to manage with the same support. And from the first experiences that we have finally, there are no definitive solution as we speak today, no surprise. We need to identify options and set of options. What is absolutely key is that circularity requires a complete change of mindset. Because we need to increase the value of those emerging end-of-life recycle value chain. And it's not easy, you know that. Which potentially in the end, in a transition point, can mean to increase at some point the cost of material to make sure that we use more and more recycled material to do new products. And of course, this is why we are here today with Regom, professionalize, digitize the ELT collection. It's an absolute prerequisite. Otherwise, we will not have a full circle and a fully sustainable tire economy and a fully sustainable tire. So this is why today we are with our partner Regom. who we work with in a very close way, and Arthur will explain you what Regom does on their own and with us to manage this revolution.
Thank you. Thank you, Christophe. So I'm Arthur Wagner. I'm General Director of TC Environment first, and then CEO and founder of Regom. At TC, we collect, sort, and shred tires for 25 years now for Aliapur. And Regom starts in TC because we had an issue with our sorters. It was as simple as that 10 years ago. One of our guys left, and with him, we left all the knowledge that we've got to address tires for recycling. For those who are not used to the end of life of tires, what we do is we collect used tires in garage, and then we sort them according to brand, model, dimension, load index, speed index, remaining tread, many different criteria to address different markets. Resell, export into Africa, Central America, South America, Eastern Europe, France, with an initiative from Michelin, mid-tire, where we resell very high quality of used tires by creating pairs. And all this knowledge was only in our operator's head, I would say. It's a very complex job because it requires a brain and strong arms because they process 50,000 tons of used tires every day per operator. We collect, I tell it with TC, 50,000 tons per year, so we are the third collector in terms of volume in France. And when we start Regom 10 years ago, it was only for our own usage, and then little after little thing, we create a system able to recognize all the marking on the flank of the tire with a camera, a vision system. So we read brand, model, dimension, load index, speed index, and the DOT, the date of production, in less than 3 seconds. So that means we're able to process 1,000 tires per hour. It's required by our industry, which is a very small industry, by the way. We are 12 in France to collect tires. There are 5 in the Netherlands, but we have to do it. Or you will have pile of used tires everywhere. And to address all our markets, we have to sort them very precisely. And now, as I said, new streams are popping up like pyrolysis, specific granulation application for modeling in contact with human skin. So you have to remove some chemical component into tires. So we sort tires according to that. It's exactly the schematic you've got on the screen. Our goal is to address and maximize the value for each tires. It can go to landfill in the US. Our headquarters is in France, but we also have a company in the US, in Texas. There, they can landfill. Energy for the cementers, mechanical recycling, pyrolysis, the new one, and reuse, the highest one. So with Regom, our goal was to move from where we are at the moment, the orange square, hand sorting, no data, only human knowledge. It's very hard to handle tires. Normally it is a pile of tire on a concrete platform, where when they've got concrete platform, and they just sort tires in the middle of nowhere. They are laughing because they discover, as a manufacturer, what it means. A few years ago, when they enter in contact with us, say, oh, it's like that, used tire industry. Yeah, it's like that. And then we export to whatever crazy country we can export tires. And if you want to speak again about your question, your early question, it's exactly the same issue with export and bailing. On the BBC a few weeks ago in the UK, you have a huge kind of movie at night showing pyrolysis in India, open air pyrolysis, which means no pyrolysis at all. And the thing is, they bail tires and they export it, whatever, even if it's not allowed, they do it. Thanks to RFID tags and our system, you can track individually each tire and make sure that this kind of thing does not happen again. Where we are at the moment, it's in the middle. So vision system, That means we are able to recognize tires based on cameras. We work for 10 years on those systems. I've got all the engineer, AI engineer and IT guy in-house. So we are dedicated 100% to used tire industry. And we create database. And the next step is a combination with Riccardo and everybody here of vision and RFID. It will take time to be 100% RFID for many reasons. In average, in Europe, we collect tires in between 5 and 7 years old. That means by 2028, manufacturers are supposed to produce 100% of tires with RFID tags. If you add 7 to 2028, it's 2035 already. So it will be a combination of vision, RFID, barcode maybe. I do not see how it can work, but identification. And then it goes into database, and thanks to those databases, we're able to track, address specific markets, and create value. So the green on the right. Some advantage, because it has to have some advantage if I want to be able to install our lines, and it's what we do. For the people who reuse, who sort tires for reuse and resell, it gives you the opportunity to address new stream and new outflows thanks to specific combination, because it's very hard to retain everything when you are a grader. Thanks to our system, you can address new markets. You can also manage your stock and create pairs to increase the value of the tires that you resell. For the retrader, it creates and adds it creates some data and make sure that the casing, as said Riccardo, are in good shape for retread. Pyrolysis, it is to make specific batches according to chemical components to have a constant in-feed, and then you've got a constant product at the output. We already made some tests with pyrolyzer in Europe. It works. Mechanical recycling, same reason. And for the EPR, for example, Aliapur, we are working with in France, it brings them a very accurate data of what is imported, what is collected, and what is recycled. So this is what we do at Regom. I'm also on the booth in the Hall 22 if you've got any question. And now, Christophe.
To sum it up, you remember the design we had at the beginning of the presentation. Finally, adding to what Arthur has just said for Regom, tire circular economy, at least is our vision, shared with our partners. Tire circular economy sure will require RFID and of course GDSO standards to, in the meantime, close the loop. And again, work starts on our side to make sure that we produce tires correctly encoded, because again, if we want to make it happen, the digital twin of the tire, the data attached to the tire in production and so on needs to be the right one, completely qualified. So it's not only a round and black tire anymore, it's the round and black tire with all its precise and qualified data. So then, by doing that, and that's something that we are currently absolutely doing at Michelin, then what we do can be used in order to improve sustainability and further improve tire life through, and Pierre mentioned it, asset management, tire as a service, using RFID and providing more and more tire life, better retreads, through, again, and we spoke about it in the Surpass 2 pilot, improving casing collection, diagnostic around tire, what was the previous life or the two previous lives. We now use completely the remix to do our own retreads, as I said at the very beginning, using RFID. And we are going to also, for other retreading processes, integrate that within the Surpass 2 pilot. For then, at the end, finally, of the life, making sure, and you mentioned it very well, can we increase the reuse rates by better pairing tires? Of course, bringing also more transparency in EPR funding, that's also a topic in Europe. And then again, doing the right job with collectors, recovery, better sorting is have more and more reliable ELT feedstocks, thanks to the automated sorting that Arthur detailed, which is absolutely key, because then, between what we do today, we can go to a more individual sorting, knowing at individual level the families of materials that are into the tires that are going on the conveyor belts, and so progressively fuel the different filières. We talk about pyrolysis to go from the individual sorting that Regom is starting, identifying the batches, doing better pyrolysis, better things again, to finally improve quantity and value of end-of-life material, renewable feedstocks, to then explore material DPP and so on. So really, again, very basic, but there will be finally no serious circular economy in tires without this individual identification and all the companies working around it. So thank you for that. And so we've looped the loop. So let's now hand it over to some of the partners from the beginning also to the end, who will explain their vision of the story, why finally they choose very early stage to support RFID and integrate RFID in their portfolios. So Ateq, I believe, Matthias, you're the first.
Right. So my name is Matthias, and I'm with Ateq, and in the next few slides, I will show you the impact of RFID in the tire workshop, so like real-life impact and how far we've come so far. So a few words about Ateq. We do work with RFID, but we do actually come from the TPMS industry, and that's why we have a broad network in the tire industry with tire workshops. And that combined brings us actually that we not only do TPMS, we do RFID, but also tire inspection. So while we start in one end, thanks to RFID and more technologies, now we're broadening our field. This includes passenger cars, commercial trucks, and of course motorcycles. Small business, but still shouldn't be forgotten. Real quick to the devices that we do are in two different kind of industries. Industry number one is the industrial OEM sector. So we do line equipment for tire fitters, for OEMs, and usually the tire here, in this example, has been fitted with TPMS sensors. It's going out to a customer, but before it needs to be scanned that the sensors are working, and in this process we also do scan the RFID badge to make sure we identify the tire and we know exactly which tire, which sensor is going out to which customer. The other field, that's actually why I'm here, is the handheld devices, and you see it hopefully pretty well in the picture over there. We use them for the passenger car and commercial truck business in TPMS, and now we've enabled TPMS with them, RFID with them. So what does that mean? When we have now the capability to read RFID tags in a workshop, that means for us, and if we do tire inspection, what the workshop only needs to do now with a vehicle, with a tire that has RFID, you'd get a TPMS tool out or your RFID reader, you walk up to the tire, it takes about 0.5 seconds and you've scanned the RFID badge, it goes up to the cloud to GDSO, we pull that information and we know exactly which tire it is. Not just which model, we know exactly the DOT number and the date of manufacturing. So going back to your question from over there earlier, in our software, we can put a warning in there. If the tire is older than 6 years, we just flag it right there the moment the technician is actually scanning it. And the next really big part in the industry that we really haven't talked about that much is connecting the tire to the vehicle. And that's done through the TPMS sensor itself. So there are already some OEMs that use our equipment. They scan the RFID badge, so the tire is identified. That number gets transferred on the TPMS sensor. And as soon as the car starts rolling, the car knows exactly what tire is installed. It doesn't only know what tire, it knows exactly what mileage it was installed. It can dedicate, or it can actually calculate tire wear. It could put in speed limitations, ABS adjustments. So while everyone is talking about a smart tire, I think this is really the first step to connect the tire to the vehicle. Especially now in our modern age when we talk more about autonomous vehicles, so the more information the car has, I mean, the better it can handle and behave. And since there's a long implementation period, but what you just saw here on those 3 major points, there are many more to come. So in the future, we're implementing the functionality to check for tire recalls. Especially in North America, this is a tremendously big topic because the installer is responsible to register the tire, so he's also responsible to inform the user about a recall. By having RFID tags, it doesn't get any simpler. You scan the tag, you know if the tire is recalled or if you are free to consume it. And then while we talk about retreading or other tire history that's been stored in GDSO, that will be also then very, very simple to retrieve. And to give you guys an idea, so what you see on the top, that's the tag that we use, so that's the ID that we get directly from the tire. You got it? Oh, perfect. So the first thing you see right here, that's the SG-TIN. That's exactly the information we get from the tire. So we don't get tire details, we get identifier number from the tire. The tool is connected to Wi-Fi, so we have internet access. This number goes up to GDSO. On the server, all those tire manufacturers have their information provided, and we then pull back the DOT number. We know when a tire was manufactured, exactly manufactured, dimensions, and exactly what model it is. So when you do a tire inspection, especially this is now a passenger car, but in a commercial truck world, and you want to document your tire wear, the only way to really document it without having any possibility of errors is just using an RFID badge. You scan it, you have maybe a TTD, so a tire tread dedication device, and you just document everything, and then you have a really solid and actually almost idiot-proof report. So in case you're interested and you do want to see how this tool actually works in action, we are part of the group here, so please come downstairs. We have plenty of tools there. We have tires, we have a car there, and feel free to go and test it out yourself. Thank you.
And now the Corghi team, I believe, is on the floor. Yeah. Domenico?
Yes. See. Very well. Welcome to everyone. I'm Domenico Marino, and I'm a product manager from an action group. So basically a group that provide equipment for workshops. So Corghi is the main brand of the action group, and today we want to show you the first dynamic pre-check with RFID capability. So basically, the product just measure the the geometry of the vehicle while passing through. So on the passage, we can measure the geometry of the vehicle and also the dynamic of the wheel. So we can perform an analysis like that include also a drift assessment. So not only a static measurement, but also a dynamic assessment on the tire. And this measurement is linked to the electronic ID of the tire. Okay. So this means that we are able, with one single passage, to retrieve all the information that give us the idea of the next operation that we have to perform. And we have automatically also the tire data. So the code, as already said by my colleague, is just a code that is sent to our cloud platform named WinNext, and that is connected to the GDSO and is able to retrieve all the information of the tires. So at this moment, all the other equipment present inside the workshop are able to retrieve the same informations automatically, and in example, automatically set up the operations. Or in case of automatic tire changers, in example, we have a setup that is very quick and automatic. So we also have a lot of use cases, a lot of application that can be implemented, like, in example, traceability inside the workshop for the stock of the tires. And we always link the tire with all the information to a vehicle, to an owner, and so we can cut all the operation exactly in the correct direction and with all the detail about the vehicle, the tire, and also the owner. Okay. Thank you. That was quick.
I believe now next should be the Devel company. Yeah.
Welcome to everyone. We are glad to introduce you Devel and our latest innovations about integrated RFID technology. Devel entered the automotive sector in 2017 and used its background to develop smart automations for workshop. Our goal is to bring the tire shop into the Industry 5.0 era, where all the machines are fully connected and reduce the workload for the operator. In this context, the Top Automatic 5.0 was designed to meet this goal, and we are proud and open to new collaborations to create systems to bring even further innovation. And one of the biggest steps forward is the integrations of the RFID technology system into our tire changer. When the tire is mounted on our Top Automatic 5.0, this machine interacts automatically with the RFID tag that store important data, like the inches of the tire. And at this point, the machine can start and set the dismounting process by itself. And no manual inputs, like the setting of the inches, are needed at this point. But we know that RFID is not only about automations. We know that it adds real values. Firstly, it allows complete traceability of the tire throughout its entire life. And secondly, it helps check the authenticity of the tire. If the RFID is certified by Michelin, we know that it's original. And last but not least, all of these create trust for workshop and also the end customer. And that's all.
Now following up on tooling companies, Fasep, Fabio. Please. Fasep.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody. My name is Fabio Boni. I'm the CEO in Fasep. Fasep is a company with over 50 years experience in the tire service equipment production. We basically manufacture pretty much the same as Corghi machines for tire shops and for the tire service during tire life. I have a little story before I started to explain what we are doing with RFID. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was in
Saudi Arabia. And I learned from our distributor there that one of biggest tire distributor in Saudi Arabia was put in jail by the police. Why? Because he was selling DOT 24 tires in 2023. These tires were coming from China with a big fake DOT, and this was discovered simply because one of the customer, let's say, was fed up with this guy and put these things in the hand of the police. Just imagine how RFID tags can be easily traced during a custom, not even inspection, just passing through customs with RFID antennas, just to make sure that everything is okay with the shipment. Just to add a little story to the logistic point that our friends from Michelin and the other are trying to explain. What is the little part of the job that Fasep doing? I guess I have to press this. We just realized the first connection with a wheel balancer. Very simple. A wheel balancer already has a lot of device and things to measure the tire size. RFID simply can automate this process by letting this information to come automatically from the cloud, from GDSO, from the tire manufacturer, to make sure that this information is available on the machine and make the machine to work fine. This is a little improvement that doesn't change the life, but the data flow can change life. How? This kind of machine can also do some diagnostic. The diagnostic that is done by a wheel balancer can be as much as measuring the tire profile during the process of wheel balancing. It means with zero extra time, I'm telling someone, probably GDSO, probably the owner of the shop, probably any stakeholder that needs to know that this particular tire has this much tread left and could go on the road or could not, can be retreated or not. That's the point that becomes an information when this machine can be connected to a computer system and can be identified individually tire by tire. This is the big additional value that can be in the vision of a single entrepreneur or even in the vision of a lawyer, of a legislator that can think how things can be improved from a circularity of the economy to the safety of the driving on the roads. So that's basically what happens. I always tell since few years, and that's the reason why I was very happy to start this project with Michelin, that when you take your wheel out of the car with the impact wrench, you put this on a tire changer, you put this on a wheel balancer and back on the, with the new tire back on the car, the smartest point touching is in the wheel balancer, because the wheel balancer already has a computer normally inside. So easy to connect the wheel balancer to someone who may need some information. That's a big point of inspection, let's say, that can improve a lot, even the productivity of the single tire shop. That's the point, and the productivity can be singularly, individually used. tire by tire, so operation by operation, customer by customer. That's the big improvement that it is ahead of us. I think that's what I wanted to explain, and if you have any question, I'll let the next people to talk. If you want to see any in details and in operation, we are in hall 19. Thank you.
Let's give the floor to Innovando.
I just took this microphone. This is the most challenging part for me because I need to stand still here. I was expecting that I will walk through the public because I always do this in public speeches. My name is Cveta Majtanovic and I represent Innovando. Innovando is one of the partners and we are also presenting in this amazing event here. So you will be able to see our solution, the solution that I will present now. But first I need to give you an introduction to what Innovando is actually doing. I'm personally responsible for sustainability and more importantly, business development, but my background is in computer science. So I finished a double degree PhD in computer science and in computer vision as well. So we are experimenting lots of things in Innovando, and we've already implemented on industrial scale several solutions. So Innovando is basically a building block for a circular transition of different kinds of materials at the end of their life. So we are not talking just about the end-of-life tires, but also other end-of-life products and end-of-life materials. So we have this circular vision, let's say, embedded in all our business units. And end-of-life tires, or so to say EPR, which is connected to individual and collective responsibility schemes, is just one of the 4 business units of Innovando. So we have EPR, then we have waste management, so we do any kind of industrial waste management, collection and treatment. Therefore, we also invest in technologies for recovery of different kinds of materials, and we have take-back schemes. This is where the RFID implementation has been already done in the textile industry, particularly for the shoe traceability. And the final one is the alternative fuels business unit. So Innovando is trading RDF and TDF, so rubber-derived fuel, tire-derived fuel, and I'm pressing the wrong button, but yeah, let's go to the next slide. So we always start from the this circular vision, as I said. So 4 business units are interconnected, so to say, or the common denominator for all 4 business units is actually iSystem. iSystem is our internally developed software solution for also for the collection, traceability, and we also create these famous digital twins so that we can track and trace different materials that we are, and also documents and so on. So basically, this is the extension of our iSystem solution, and in this context, we heard an introduction about the European regulations that are pushing on one side, on the other side, circular transition that is knocking on the door, also the all the other challenges that we are facing, and the digitalization and I mean passing to let's say the transition to digital systems is more than obvious in all sectors. So I would say that the tire sector will not be saved. So here with our team and with the background of Digital Product Passport, a story that we heard about, the RFID technology has been used, and I prepared just for you a couple of slides. One of them is connected to the challenges. So basically, what is the challenge? The challenge that we are facing is the lack of consistent end-of-life tire inventory data. So basically, collectors and carcass traders, they receive manually inserted information of the end-of-life tire inventory, which basically means that it translates to inefficiencies, also to lack of the knowledge of your assets, essentially. And then we have barriers to accurate tracking. So from the moment of the production of one tire to the end of its life, complexity of the post-use traceability. So individual items are aggregated into volume-based systems that are making unique identification harder. So in Innovando, we imagined every tire, new one, used one, retreaded, or tire at the end of its life, to be accessible with the touch of a button, so to say. And we prepared for you like a presentation, which is basically a mock-up. It's not really going to be an application, but we're just using for the sake of demonstration. So accessing the platform, you will be able to see the new data, retreadable, new tires, used ones, retreadable, to read some news that are connected to the field. So for the tire dealers, this is important. Now, after scanning the device, we can see the information that is connected to the tire, as we previously saw in some of the solutions. So you have all the details. And now, basically, we do something that is called labeling. So we can put one of these tires into every category. So according to the size, is it a small, medium, large tire, according to the type of the tire. And that way, we can have our inventory more accurately, let's say, maintained over the time. And so this also helps us to do the reportings more efficiently and so on. So I haven't been developing this system, my colleagues were, and I will just invite you to come to the hall 22, A2, we are in that booth, so you can see the solution, how it actually works. Essentially, this unique identification for each of the tires is the message that I would like to leave you with. And the system interoperability we heard about already, so among the carcass traders and the end-of-life collectors. So for them, this is a value creation on top of the sustainability and traceability and all the other aspects that we heard about. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Oh, no, we're done with the presentations. Now we come into the discussion panel. I would like to welcome on stage also Giuseppina Carnimeo from Ecopneus, who is going to join us. I think we're going to need
one more chair.
Okay, great. Please.
I was waiting for this moment since the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. So also I'm going to give the audience the opportunity to make some questions to the speakers. So if you want to deepen some items. But just to start, well, I will start with Giuseppina, who's Is it working, the microphone?
Number 2, like the blonde before. Yeah. Okay. The blonde. Okay, so
Giuseppina, thank you very much for being here. We are very pleased to have you on stage representing Ecopneus, which is the main Italian operator in the management of the end-of-life tires. So we have seen the RFID ecosystem allows to track the tire and follows its whole life cycle from cradle to grave, literally. And so we've seen a huge effort from the industry to bring innovation forward, and a huge challenge, and yeah, but still a big change that still needs to be fully introduced into the supply chain. So I will start with you, asking you what are the challenges and the opportunity that you foresee in this scenario for us.
Thanks, Guido, and this convention, this presentation for me is very interesting and important because that is the future, I think. We spoke about tools, an important tool that integrate and respond first of all to obligation, a law obligation. Okay, tomorrow we have to respond to the digital product passport, to the eco design regulation, and so we have to be ready to manage this obligation, this law request. I took just some points or ideas, but it's very too much maybe, because we have inspirational for me, no? So now what I say, I don't know, because there are very many points. But first of all, I think that these instruments, RFID and GDSO, this project and so on, is the key point for the circular economy of the tire sector. In our role, we are EPR scheme, you know? And maybe we are, we manage the last stage or phase of the life cycle of tire, but actually is the first stage of the new life, of the second life of the product, because we have to move from a waste management approach to a material management approach, because a circular economy means that. So come from and move from waste. Yes, we collect waste, we manage waste, we treat waste, but actually we manage product, we manage precious material, and we have to enhance the environmental performances of this material in order to come from cradle to cradle, not from cradle to grave, maybe, no? And so we have to ready to do this leap, no? And RFID, I think, and GDSO is an important key, no? An instrument to do this movement. So I think, I say thanks to everybody involved in this project. We support, we have to monitor, to follow this progress and this challenge. So also for the EPR scheme, because I manage, I think, to the EPR scheme as the bridge between production phase, the production sector, and the recycling sector. We need to improve the quality of the recycling, no? And we manage this movement from the two phases. So I don't want to lose our time to other intervention. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
Maybe I'll go back to you again on these items. Any question from the audience for our speakers? We still have, oh, please. Please, on the microphone.
Interested in accessibility to the full data in the RFID system. As a retreader, how do we get full access to what's on that RFID system from a second life Michelin tire that lands in our yard? How do we read it, and do we get access to it? Do we have to subscribe to something, or is there a generic reader?
Maybe this one is for Riccardo, I guess.
That's for me, that's for me. Yeah, no, it's working, it's working.
Oh,
I got it, no worries. Thanks for the question, nice to meet you. I'm pretty sure we can follow up even tonight, I guess, to the dinner of the retreaders. Let's say the new system that we are developing and deploying is working in a kind of access right. So retreaders will be those having free access to all that kind of data that are supposed to enable your use cases. That means operations. We are in close contact with BPower. We are going to make also additional exchanges to confirm the list of data that are required. But the point is, a retreader is supposed to have free access to all that kind of data, but, with a big but, in return, they should provide back the information of the output of the operation. Something like, Michelin is producing a tire, Bandag is retreading the tire. So Bandag is supposed to have free access to all the tire history. The tire was repaired, the tire was already retreaded, and so on. The retreader, Bandag, is going to put in place their own operation. Let's make an example. The tire was developed and designed and manufactured as a snow tire, and for some reason, the carcass, so the user tire, is decided to be retreaded as a summer tire. That is a major change. We are expecting the retrader to provide back in return that kind of major information in a kind of a win-win approach. So free flow of data access and data sharing, having retraders in the shoes of a data user and then a data provider.
Then I have one more question. If we want to integrate the RFID into our own manufacturing process to follow and trace the fabrication of that retread, but we don't want to really share the detail of that with you so much. Would there be a way to isolate the information that we want to use for our own process to keep it, and then give whatever data is necessary back to you for general publication? You don't want to know that Jimmy's spent half an hour buffing a tire, for instance. We do.
Sure.
But it's not generally required. Can you isolate within the system?
Let's make a step back. The scenario that you are describing, I'm expecting to be just a transition. Because as Artur was saying before, most likely a data carrier, a tire ID, will be implemented by the tire manufacturer in the short future. So possibly retrader may start getting used tires, so let's say carcasses with an ID already, let's say, as a regular information in the next 7-10 years. I understand it's a long time. So your scenario may be a transition. The good point is, in our system, there are standardized information. Some of them are considered to be private. Others shall remain even out of the scope of GDSO. Again, business-sensitive information are not subject to standardization. Meaning, for example, if you want to link that ID to your specific operation, the operator, the time shift, the machine, the speed, whatever, it's your business. It's not part of the standardized data set. Again, we can follow up later.
If I can add something, because we work on the development of the antennas for them, you have to see the RFID tag like a serial code. So then you can address it to them and have an answer. But in your production process, then you can use it as a serial number tracking whatever step you have to track. And at the end, you send whatever information you want.
Okay, so anytime from the audience, please don't hesitate to make add. Oh, sorry, please. Didn't saw your hand.
Last simple question to Ateq, maybe to Fabio as well, and to Lady who produce tire balancers. If I saw on the slide of Matthias from Ateq that the data of the production was there. So does it mean that we cannot, of course, have the access for different reasons by ourselves to the big data? But if I buy the tool VT6067, I will be able to read the date of the production, because now I have a piece of Michelin tire with RFID tag from the factory in Poland, and I cannot read the date of the production. And I don't have the access through GDSO. Maybe it's going to be changed. I would be happy. If it will be in the tool, that's enough for me. If it will be in the tire balancer, it's even good for you, because I will be advising people to buy Fasep or other tire balancer instead of others which don't have this reader. So that's my question.
I answer first, and then I'll leave you the floor. For sure, GDSO is not imposing to purchase anything, okay? Yeah, I know. It's a business case, you're right. So as I was saying, more than happy to give more details, but data are already there. We segregate public information without a user account. You are not user of GDSO. You are a public user, okay?
That's why I don't have the access to...
And that's your fault. That's your fault.
If I buy the tool, if I have the access, I'm happy.
If you will let me answer, if you register, and we can discuss about that, you can have an official registration, then you can connect with Michelin, and they can provide you access to that kind of data. Then, if you want to also use the tool, more than happy. But what I wanted just to clarify is that GDSO services are free of charge. Then for the TIS, that is different from the retrader use case, you have then to have a one-to-one with the different tire manufacturers for a different number of reasons.
So I noticed that because they were, when I was registering 10 manufacturers, now I'm happy that even Kumho joined. It's a good sign, I think, for some reasons. And I can see that only one didn't accept at the beginning, probably now accepted. So I have to be given all the rights that I was given, but still I couldn't check the date of the production. So whatever, if I can use Ateq tool, I can have the access to this. I'm happy it's enough for me and for tire garages, mechanical garages, and so on. And now it's not the time to explain more in details what I mean, how I want to use it and how I want to give that opportunity for tire garages, but it would be a good thing which will save money and time.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, even this morning I got a touch point with the European Garage Equipment Association Secretary General. We really want to join the efforts to provide value. So please stop to our booth and we can discuss. Great. Do you need, yeah?
I could add some to it, but what I want to say from the software perspective, I mean, the hardware is there, the software is there, so we can demo it. The release to the public is not planned as of right now. As you just learned, there's a little bit more in the background that needs to happen. But we do work very, very hard to actually push this because we do see the value for the garage. And it's even for everyone here, I mean, the more users we have in the field, the more tire manufacturers will join, the more tires will be actually equipped with RFID, because I'm sure it's also a cost on your end to do so. So it's, we do what we can to create the bottom-up pool.
It's a cost. It's there. It brings a lot of value. So it brings a lot of value to the whole ecosystem. One of the issues tire manufacturers had to face is only seeing the cost of integrating the chips. And that's why we work in ecosystem, is beyond the cost, is finally looking at all the use case, all the value, which is far beyond the cost, far beyond the cost, and how we share the value. Because of course, data will not always be for free. So there is a value and there will be value with a standardized access to the data.
I can imagine that if I don't have the access to this data, I can call center Michelin, I can give the number, and I will confirm what is the real date of the production.
Yes, you can.
So I don't need to spend any money,
but
and it's good for everybody.
The call center will not have necessarily the data at hand. So
at the moment, yes. In the future, it can change.
0033, right?
Or the claim department as well. Yes, I claim the tire, and the claim department knows exactly what it is.
I'm being very serious. Data will not be for free because there is strong value for all the stakeholders. So data, at some point, there is a lot of value in constructing what we do together. So in the end, everything cannot be for free.
But I think, Christophe, for Michelin and for other manufacturers, it's good to find out those older tires. Because you can sell more new tires.
It's one of the use cases.
So if I can help from this side,
there are tons
of Michelin to get the access to.
There are tons of very valuable use cases. This is just one of them.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for interrupting this interesting exchange. Can I challenge the facilitator? Can I make that question to the audience?
Yes, please.
Great. I see in the audience a friend of mine that is not a GDSO member yet. What did you capture from this conference? What's in it for you?
So I'm not GDSO member yet. I have to say, I see as a tire manufacturer, RFID is a very positive thing. I can understand the circular economy and everything like that. But I'm a tire developer. I want to make good tire for my customer. But if I saw today, we have DPP, we have EPRL. So now these are two bureaucratic things that I need to do for European Union. Will it replace each other, or one will disappear, or do I have to maintain both? EPRL is the energy, I forgot what is the full name, with all the EU label over there. So I hope it will replace one, so I have to maintain only one, but I don't know. That is how I see it. I can see the use case for tire manufacturer, totally. OEM, 100%. But I think the story of the ecosystem, there are still some spot that is not clear. You touch us, data is not free. You touch us, in the future, garages and stuff like that. All of this involve investment. You need to purchase tools. And I just heard business case. There is no number, there's no ROI, there is just stories at the moment. For providing service, miles, tire service for tire manufacturer, this is clear.
Yep.
That's how I see it.
That's a great point. Thanks. That's what I was asking you. I was pretty sure you were raising interesting points. So for the first part, you were mentioning the tire labeling, the ESPR. It's clear. It's becoming a constellation of stars, and each one being in a silos. Let me say, it's out of GDSO scope. We are a standardization body. We are not the trade association, so it's more in the ETRMA, the European Tire and Rubber Manufacturer Association. This is the trade association for tires in Europe. I know that it's in their agenda to try to leverage on the DPP challenge as an opportunity for the tire manufacturers to get additional simplification. Yeah. But let's say, if interested, I suggest you to touch base with the ETRMA. As far as return on investment is concerned, good news. Last week, we had an internal discussion during a GDSO General Assembly meeting, and indeed, I raised exactly the same point. I would like to be in the shoes of dead people and providing them some numbers. You know, it's a delicate issue. I mean, I cannot ask Michelin to quantify, I cannot ask Bridgestone to quantify, I cannot ask them to discuss together because of the competition law guidelines. That makes sense. So what you agreed is to try to quantify the time that is saved during operation, and then to leave each stakeholder to say, okay, time for me means thousands of dollars, euros, yen, whatever, and then to let them understand the return of investment. And I'm pretty sure that this way, for example, I'm not really an expert on retrading, maybe on ELT, end-of-life tire, these experts might support us, but you know, if you have to go one by one each tire, just to collect a very small information about dirty tire, either you go by heart, luck approach, or you need, let's say, an IT support. And that IT support versus a visual and manual operation is definitely at least 2 or 3 orders lower than the manual one. So we would like to create a kind of a user story, explaining being the shoes of a tire shop, of a distributor, in a retrader, ELT company. That's how you will get benefit in terms of times, operation speed up, and then we leave them to quantify a kind of a return on investment. But not only, also for vehicle manufacturers, sometimes it's not that simple.
So, good news, as you said, but many of the people that I visited asked exactly this question, how it helps.
Yeah,
and I said,
it happened last week.
Yeah.
Give me some time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but I mean, it's one of our priorities.
Okay, I also have a couple of questions for the speakers. As you know, in Autopromotec group, we also have the tire dealer association, also the tire retrading association. So I have a couple of questions from their respective point of view. So from the tire dealer point of view, one of the hints that I get from the companies is that RFID applications in the garage equipment and in the whole value chain are very promising and very interesting. But one thing I often get asked is when will I be able to integrate the RFID data into my tire workshop management software, because I need the flow to go until the accountability and the warehouse management. And I know that Corghi is already working on that, maybe, so probably Domenico.
Okay. We are advantaged from this point of view because we provide also a management system, a workshop management system. So firstly, we are proceeding with the integration with our product, of course. But we already started discussion with some of the major players in this field in order to find out how to standardize also this kind of connection, because the main challenge is that every product have his own protocol, his own method of communication. So the next step will be to try to understand how to standardize the information that we have to share with the management systems, and then to allow all the workshop management software to access easily to this information. So this is in progress. Of course, it's not easy because we have a lot of stakeholders, but we started the process. So we hope to be ready in the near future.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Guido, I was going to complete. You saw on the ecosystem partners list earlier in the presentation that we've already onboarded many software providers for warehouse management systems, ERP, transport management systems, some of them in Italy with Pierre. So again, some of them are already ready and are ready to go. And again, a great initiative, probably Corghi, potentially with the GEA. Yes, standardization is probably a great word also for software companies.
Through GDSO, standardization through GDSO.
Absolutely, through GDSO. There's no other way, Riccardo.
So this is also big news to spread. And also from the retrading point of view, there's a question for both Regom and Innovando maybe. You are already sorting out many thousands of tires, of used tires, and some of them are then sent to be retraded, I guess. Do you think it is possible to use this the system, this technology, toward a real eco-design production for the new tire manufacturers? I mean, in your database you have a real data gold mine of all of thousands and thousands of tires you have traced. Do you think it is possible to have statistics out of your past database and see which models are more retroadability than others, which products have a real eco-design origin?
We've got some of our customers in Europe who are already doing this kind of studies for some manufacturers. So they're using the data that we collect with our machine, so it is their own data, and then they do whatever they have to do with the manufacturer in terms of number of tires that they collect, the kind of wear, everything, because we measure the tread depth with a profilometer, so they can share this data with manufacturers, so then they do whatever they want to do with it. For sure, the RFID will bring an added value with some characters that we are not able to detect at the moment with our vision system. And regarding the eco-design, if we are talking, for example, about seal tires, the one with the glue in it to self-repair, at the moment it's a big issue, a very, very big issue, especially in the Netherlands and Belgium, because they've got some fine if they send tire with glue inside to granulators. It's like 20 or 25 euro per tire that they receive. So they are, with our machine, sorting specifically those tires before the shredder to remove them. So yeah, for sure, it brings data. I always make the comparison between tire industry and the rest of the recycling industry. They are already sorting metal, plastic, glass, everything. In tires, we sort nothing. So we are at the beginning, and starting from 0, it's always easier rather than 19 to go to 20.
Cveta, do you want to add something?
I completely agree with everything what's been said so far. No, I just wanted to add a final point on Innovando's software iSystem, which is a benchmark in the industry, that we actually want to be part of this in the broader sense and part of the digitalization, because not only what I've shown in this presentation, but the iSystem is also something that is supporting the upcoming regulations and other things by tracking and tracing in real-time manner the environmental impact indicators from all the processes that we are, so from the collection to recycling and so on. So we already have implemented these tools that are tracing environmental impact according to 16 factors in real-time manner. So this is just a step forward, and we will continue growing the platform according to the regulation, but also having this circular vision in our mind, which is why we started doing this business, and of course having materials in our mind, as we said before.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Fabio, please.
Can I add a little thing? I have a friend who is working with RFID since many years.
But he's not in the jail.
He's not in jail.
Yeah. This one is making money. He's working in the fashion industry. RFID in the fashion industry is widely used since a long time. The point is about standardization. And I'm trying to give an information to the retrader. You can use the standardized information from GDSO for certain part of the job to identify the tire, but you still can use the single serial number to trace the passages of this tire into your system. And that's what happened in a single fashion store when they have multiple antennas from the shelves to the place where they put the garments on to the cashier. So you can integrate in your system however you like. And the point is that the more antennas, the more point you can measure. That's it. And I would like to tell something to the Ling Long engineer who was left. He was, he's no more here. Well, I'll tell this. I don't think that even in the small part of the job made by the equipment, we are just telling stories. There is no such a point. Just imagine how many times, I guess, the engineers in the Michelin, they have to design the tire to make mounted, dismounted for a number of times, not infinite number of times. So I imagine that when the data flow will be in and out and in to GDSO, and the Devel tire changer will tell, I dismounted this tire. The stress, this tension of the bed of this tire will be a little less than the original. So someone will tell the maximum number of dismounting process will be 10. This is a big information for the safety. And this information is not a story. The tire changer that will communicate to GDSO the story of the tire will make this tire more safe.
Correct. We are already, Fabio, using that feature in internal tire testing and development, and also with some OEM customers. Yeah. So exactly using the unique number and the features to say that kind of test can be done X number of times, and it depends on many factors to make sure that there is no overuse of the tire versus what is it. So we use it internally and with customers for the moment, OEMs. Will it go then further to shops and say, well, this tire, it's a 24-inch, should not be mounted and dismounted more than whatever, if there's a limit?
That's the point. So
but at least for the shop to know.
The big point with the RFID is that you can design your own system to improve your productivity, and you can design, let's say, a social numbers that you want to exchange
Absolutely.
with others to make things more safe for everybody. That's the point.
Okay, I think we should start and closing the meeting, but before sorry, I cannot resist asking Giuseppina about what do you think about the famous guy that got in jail in Saudi Arabia? the guy that got arrested in Saudi Arabia because of the. I mean, the question is, in Italy we have a very sensitive matter related to the traceability and to the parallel markets. Do you think that RFID technology can help us tracing all of the 100% of the market, and so have a total correct management of the overall volumes?
Yes, traceability is an important key point of this instrument in our RFID. Also, we know that in EPR scheme, we start from put on the market until the end of life type of management, you know. So before I talked about the RFID, posso dirlo in italiano? RFID non mi viene.
That's it.
Okay. RFID can help to better manage the selection, the recycling stage, so for the last and the first stage of the management of the product and the material. In terms of at the beginning of the chain, so the put on the market and the traceability is also an idea, an approach you can use. But I also think that we know in our regulation scheme or in the PR scheme, the focus is also the control and the monitor, because you can have the best instrument, the best tool, but if you are not able to manage, if you are not able to control and to monitor this instrument, okay, it's not enough. So it's important, as you said before. Yeah.
Okay. Any final remarks from Christophe or Riccardo?
Just thanking all the ecosystem partners. Again, it's key to convince everybody into the shops, into the workshops. Of course, OEMs, we started long ago. So thanks again for joining in this adventure. We are changing the world on tires. We are changing the game. Interoperable standard with GDSO is absolutely critical. But again, it's a very new adventure. So we are all in this field together. Manufacturing tires with RFID is not enough if we don't have people manufacturing the tools, the processes, the software for users to be able to benefit from this individual ID. So thanks to everyone for being there and trusting and helping us, the entire industry, into making this happen.
And I think we have the right to say that we are reinventing the wheel and we are making it real.
Great.
Thank
you very much.